Hey, good morning or good night, depending on which part of the world you're in. So, a couple quick points. I think one, I'm excited. Thanks to all of you who've introduced yourselves. I'm looking forward to the virtual community that we're going to build over the next while as we keep trying to think about how we can better serve all the students in our schools and in our system. I'm going to post over the next 2 weeks different clips or articles or videos and ask you to think about it, and mostly from your perspective, where you're at, whether you're a teacher in a classroom, a principal, or a superintendent. And I really want for us to engage based on how we can challenge ourselves personally and our own personal practice. I don't want to spend a lot of time looking at research to prove that there are issues with Indigenous, Black, racialized children coming from poverty to us LGBT children, children with special identified learning needs being in achievement and well-being gaps. We know it. There's reports that are decades old. There's some that are a few weeks old. And they're telling us the same thing, that racism exists. This also is not an issue of if we get more people to care, they'll do it. If that was the case, then when Indigenous children were being stolen from their homes, or the many other ways that children have been harmed, our care should have kicked in. Ultimately, one of the reasons why I ask everyone to connect back to what brought them to education is for us to think about who we are and what brought us here. And if it is that we're here for the sake of trying to do better for the children that we serve, then we have to think about how we're going to actually lead differently, whether it's leading within the classroom, leading within a school leadership role, as a principal or a system role, or as a superintendent. Unfortunately, the Faculty of Education in our superintendent's courses, in other courses that we do, don't actually ask us to think about the children to whom, as Gloria Ladson-Billings would say, we owe an education debt. Those are the ones we characterize as being in the gap. So I want for us to think about that. Today I'm going to repost my TED Ed video. I'm going to ask you to take a look at that because it gives a general overview of the way that we think about it. But in there, I reflect a bit on some of my own personal pieces. I talk about my personal identity, and I talk about the ways that my own identity got or gets in the way of serving all children well. And I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of thinking and maybe sharing without incriminating yourselves, but in terms of being reflective practitioners, what are the ways that you've done things and how that may have contributed or continues to contribute to barriers for children. And again, I really want for us to keep it focused in on ourselves. I'm going to post a monograph for culturally relevant and responsive pedagogy that has some really good pieces in it that will also help ground the conversations that we're having. I'm looking forward to it. Have a really good day ahead.